Dear students, we will discuss about continuous series, how to construct a frequency distribution under continuous series. In today's class, we will discuss about the meaning of frequency distribution, and we will have a look at types of series, and mainly we will focus on continuous series. We already know that individual observations, that is individual series, the data is not arranged into any groups. For example, runs scored by players, marks secured by students of a class, salaries earned by employees. If they are not arranged into any groups, total information is given without any grouping, that is individual series. Now we have already discussed about discrete series. In a discrete series, tally marks are being used. After 4 vertical lines, if for the 5th count we are crossing it like this. This is 4 and cross method we have learned in our previous class. For one number of sample that is being studied, or for one number of frequency that is observed, this number will be indicated like this. For 2 vertical lines you are going to draw. For 3 vertical lines you are going to draw. For 4 vertical lines you are going to draw. If 5 is observed in a frequency, in a class, you are going to, after 4 you are going to cross it like this. Number, tally, frequency. Like this you are going to arrange in a tabular form. For 0, if 2 are there, 2 tallies, 0 number is observed by you for 2 times, you are going to put tally marks like this. 3, if it is observed 7 times, this is 5, this is 2 times. Like this you are going to draw. This we have already learned. So like this table will come: number, tally, frequency. This is known as the discrete series. In our previous class we have learned about it. Now coming to continuous series. What is continuous series? See, when data can take any value without any gap, the series becomes a continuous series. Now you can see here marks 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. This is the table pertaining to marks of certain students. So number of students, you can observe 0 to 10 marks are scored by 5 number of students. 10 to 20 marks are scored by 10 students. 20 to 30 marks are scored by 12 students. 30 to 40 marks are scored by 20 students. So 40 to 50 marks are scored by 2 students. 50 to 60 marks are scored by 1 student. The total number of students you can see here: 1 plus 2, 3, 3 plus 20, 23, 23 plus 12, 35, 35 plus 10, 45, 40 plus 45 plus 5, 50. So total 50 students data is given. So their highest mark is up to 60, whereas lowest mark is up to 0. So lowest value may be 0 or highest value may be 60, but no person scored more than 60. No student scored more than 60. So if the data is arranged like this, this is known as continuous series: 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60. So you can observe the data, the series dealing with the continuous variable is called continuous series. The continuous variable is one which can assume any conceivable fraction of value within a range. Now you can see the range implies lowest value. This is the lowest value and this is the highest value. Now suppose if a student scored 10.5 marks, he can be put in this class. If a student scored 32, clearly it will come in this class. If a student scored 50.5, you have to put that student in this block. So each and every value can be included in continuous series. In other words, the continuous variable is one in which it can assume any conceivable fractionable value within a range. A continuous variable is capable of assuming every conceivable fractionable value within the range of possibilities, such as the income, wage, profit, length, etc. Any value can be taken up in continuous series, provided it fits. It should not go more than the highest value and should not be less than the lowest value that you have mentioned in your table. Now we will come to know about certain terms that are going to be used in continuous series. What is a class? Now in this example you can see this is the class. 0 to 10 is the class. 10 to 20 is another class. 30 to 40 is another class. Like this. These are all classes. So class implies each stated interval into which the continuous variable gets classified. It is a class. 0 to 10 is a class. See? Each stated interval, this is the stated interval into which the continuous variables get classified. So from 0 to 10, you can classify the students' marks who got less than 10 and who got more than 0. This person, more than or equal to 0, a student can be classified into this category. Now, in our example, you can see 5 students scored equal to 0 marks or less than 10 marks. If a student scores 10 marks, you will be in a confusion whether to include that student in this class or this class. And the general rule is, statistical rule is, you should include that student in this class, next class. So suppose if a student scores 30 marks, you need not be confused. You should not fit him in 20 to 30 class, but you should fit him in 30 to 40 class. So that is the statistical rule, generally accepted rule. So class implies the stated interval into which the continuous variables get classified. Now class limit. So we have defined a class. Repeating, each stated interval into which the continuous variable gets classified. Now class limits. Now coming to previous example, we will see what is a class interval. We will observe this 20 to 30 class. In 20 to 30 class, remember this is the upper limit of the class. Upper limit of the class. Upper limit of the class. Whereas 20 is the lower limit of the class. Twenty is the lower limit. 30 is the upper limit. So class limits are the lowest and the highest values that can be included in the class. See, in 20 to 30 class, lowest marks that you can take is 20, whereas highest mark that you can include in this class is 29. So that is class limit, means the highest limit and the lowest limit. This is upper limit, this is lower limit. Now, next, so we have discussed about class and class limits. So each and every class has two limits, upper class limit and lower class limit. Remember, there are two limits of every class. One is the upper limit and the other one is the lower limit. The lower value of the class is called the lower limit, whereas the upper value of the class is called the upper limit. The lower and upper limits are generally represented by L1 and L2 symbols. Now again, for another clarification, we will go to the previous table. This is continuous series table. I will continue with this 20 to 30 class. I will take this class 20 to 30 class. Now you see the lowest value that can be fit into this class is 20, whereas the highest mark that can be fit into this one is 20.99 can be fit. So if a student scores 20.99, he can be included in this class. But if he scores 30, you can include him in next class, that is 30 to 40. Okay. So we have discussed about class, class limits, and class interval. Now, what is class interval? Now we will go to the table. 20 to 30. This is the class, and the difference between the limits, that is L2 minus L1. This in class 20 to 30, I mentioned that 30 is L2, whereas 20 is L1. Now, class interval is the difference between the two limits, means L2 minus L1. This is equal to 30 minus 20. So this will be equal to 10. So class interval is equal to 10. Generally, class interval is indicated by I, or it is also indicated by C. C stands for class interval, or simply I stands for interval. Okay, so class interval is the difference between the upper limit and the lower limit of a class. Similarly, you can see the difference between successive upper limits or successive lower limits will also be generally equal to the difference between one class's upper limit minus lower limit. Now let us take for example 0 to 10, 10 to 20. These two classes lower limits difference. Lower limit is 10 minus 0, that is equal to 10. Similarly, the difference between 10 minus 20, 10, 20 minus 30, 10, 30 minus 40, 10, 40 minus 50, 10. Similarly, continuously, in a continuous series, the difference between two successive upper limits will also be equal to the difference between two successive lower limits. 10 minus 20, the difference between 20 minus 10, 10, 30 minus 20, 10, 40 minus 30, 10, 50 minus 40, 10, 60 minus 50, 10. So, class interval, the difference between a single class's upper limit minus lower limit or two successive classes lower limits difference or two successive classes higher limits difference or upper limits difference. That is termed as class interval. Now coming to, we have discussed class, we have discussed class limit, we have discussed class interval. Now coming to mid value. What is the mid value? Now again we will go to previous example. Mid value refers to the value lying exactly in the middle or center of the two class limits. Now how you can arrive at this one? How you can determine mid value? Now how it is arrived? Mid value MV is equal to, mid value is equal to L2 plus L1 by 2. In our example, I have taken the class 20 to 30. L2, I told you, L2 refers to upper limit, L1 refers to lower limit. So 30 minus 30 plus 20 by 2. That is 50 by 2. That is equal to 25. This will be the mid value for this class of 20 to 30. It is also known as midpoint. Mid value is also known as midpoint. So it is the average of two limits of the class. It is the value lying halfway between lower and upper limits of a class. Okay. So now we will examine this classes MV, mid value or midpoint. 0 to 10 means 0 plus 10 by 2. That is 10 by 2 means 10 by 2 is equal to 5. So 10 plus 20 by 2 means 30 by 2, 15. 30 plus 20, 50 by 2, 25. This 15. 20 plus 30, 50 by 2, 25. 30 plus 40, 70 by 2, 35. So 40 to 50 class mid value, midpoint is 40 plus 50, 90 by 2, that is equal to 45. Now 50 to 60, that is 110 by 2, means it is 55. So you can observe another point also here. So the difference between successive midpoints or mid values is equal to class interval. Mid values, the difference between successive mid values, that is 15 minus 5, 10. 25 minus 15, 10. 35 minus 15, 10. So like this, you can see successive mid values difference 10 is equal to one class's highest value minus one class's lowest value. See, in 0 to 10 class, we have seen upper limit minus lower limit. That is the class interval. So class interval 10 is equal to successive mid values difference. So you can observe like that also. Now coming to, so we have discussed class, class limits, class interval, mid value. Now what is class frequency? Now you can see the class of frequency. How class of frequency is determined. Frequency refers to the number of observations in class. The number of observations in class. See now, in 30 to 40 class, the frequency is 20. In 20 to 30 class, number of observations is 12. Means frequency is 12. So frequency of 40 to 50 class is, you can see, 2. So like this, see, these are class frequencies. 5, 10, 12, 20, 2, 1. These are classes of frequencies. Frequency refers to the number of observations. The number of observations corresponding to a particular class is known as the frequency of the class or the class frequency. It is generally denoted by F, small f, not capital F. So F refers to frequency. So repeating, class, class limits, class interval, mid value, class frequency. All these we have discussed. I am repeating the definitions. Each stated interval into which the continuous variables get classified, it is class. Class limit. The class limits are the lowest and the highest values that can be included in the class. Class interval is the difference between the upper and lower limit of a class. And mid value or midpoint, it is the value lying halfway between lower and upper class limit. The value lying exactly in the middle or center of the two class limits of a group or class is known as mid value. Then class frequency refers to the number of observations corresponding to a particular class is known as the frequency of that class or the frequency. We have discussed L1, L2. Upper limit is known as L2, lower limit is known as L1. The class interval is denoted by Ci, mid value MV or midpoint. This is also known. Class frequency is denoted by F, small f. Now, there is always a question as to how many classes would be ideal. That is the question that haunts everybody's mind. So the desirable number of groups into which a distribution observations should be classified. So Professor H.E.S. Sturge has given a rule, has given a formula based on which data can be divided into number of groups, and the number of classes should be, according to him, 1 plus formula for that is 1 plus 3.322 log n. N is the number of observations. We will try to comprehend this one. These are the steps that have to be taken for continuous series, for drawing continuous series, for fitting a data into a continuous series. We have to determine number of classes into which we want to distribute the data, the range here in statistics, more especially coming to continuous series, the difference between the highest and lowest observations in the data is termed as range. So you have to determine the range, divided data, whatever range that you get from a data, you have to divide range by the number of classes to estimate the approximate size of the interval. Means H implies height of the class interval. Okay, this will all these steps we will follow in order to construct a continuous table, continuous series table. Find the lower class limit of the lowest class and add it to the class interval to get the upper class limit. Obtain class limits for the remaining classes by adding the class interval to the limits of the previous class. These steps we will follow in our construction of a continuous series. When we do problem, you will exactly be able to understand these things and count the number of frequencies in each class and check against the total number of observations. We will construct, when we construct a continuous series, you can understand all these steps. For the time being, you just look at these 6 steps and try to comprehend. I am repeating, when we do a problem, when we construct the continuous series table, we can understand these steps in a better way. Now, the determination of classes depends on certain things. It depends on range. Range, I have already mentioned, it is the difference between highest value and smallest value in the given data. Class interval is generally in the multiples of 5. That is 5, 10, 15, and 20 should be taken into consideration for class interval. Class interval, I mentioned, the difference between the upper and the lower limits of a class is known as class interval. Now, the number of classes is denoted by k. Log n is logarithm of total number of observations. Now, for example, if you consider, if the total number of observations are 100, means we have examined 100 units, means 100 maybe students, 100 maybe any other observation, employees, in the number of classes, in how many classes we can divide those 100. This, with the help of this formula, we can divide. See, k is equal to 1 plus 3.322 log 100. So 1.3, it is equal to 1.3, 1 plus 3.322 into log 100 means 2. Log 100's value is 2. Okay. Now, so it is equal to 1.644k. That is 7.644 will come. So we have to divide the data into 8 classes. But remember, according to Surge's formula, classes cannot be less than 4 and not greater than 20 according to this formula. But normally, in our daily construction, of this, what we will do is always our classes will be between 5 to 15. It is ideal. It should not be, classes should not be more than 20 or less than 6. Normally we will follow that. Okay. Now, I hope you understood this. We will construct a continuous series with an example in our next class. But whatever we have learned, I will try to recap it. We have learned the data can be classified into discrete series or continuous series. In discrete series, what happens? The series dealing with the discrete variable is called discrete series. Discrete variable here refers to that characteristic which cannot be expressed in fractions, or it is a fractionless variable. There will be either 1 employees or 2 employees. There will be either 1 student or 2 students, but students cannot be 1.5 or 1/4 students will not be there. There cannot be 1.5 employees. So what we have discussed is continuous series. What are the various terms that are associated with a continuous series, like class limits, class interval, mid value, class frequency. And we have also seen Professor H.A. Sturgis rule. It would be better to recall the definitions of these terms that are being used in continuous series. Class is each stated interval into which the continuous each stated interval, and class limit lowest and highest values. Class interval, difference between upper and lower limits. Mid value, upper limit plus lower limit, its value divided by 2. Then class frequency, number of observations. Number of observations in a class, if they are put into a table, that is known as, against each class, whatever observations that have been recorded, those observations are termed as class frequency of that particular class. So these are the terms used in continuous series. So thank you, dear students. In our next class, we will see construction of continuous series table and various methods of continuous series. What are the various kinds of tables that can be formed with the help of continuous series? That is, in other words, types of continuous series we will see. So inclusive series, exclusive series, open-ended distribution, cumulative frequency distribution, equal and unequal class interval series, mid-value series, bivariate frequency distribution. All these we will learn in our next class. So thank you, dear students.